You feel it, the pull, the distraction, the noise, and beneath it, something stronger, a quiet knowing. You were not built for average, you were built for impact. But impact demands one thing: focus. Right now, your life stands at a turning point, not tomorrow, not next year, now. Because the difference between the life you want and the life you live is attention directed with purpose. This is the moment everything changes for you. Stand still, breathe in, feel the weight of your potential. You know what needs to be done. Focus is not a skill, it is a decision. And today, you decide, let us begin. You feel it, the pull, the distraction, the noise. It surrounds you every day. It competes for your attention. It whispers that everything matters equally. But beneath all of it, beneath the urgency, beneath the endless movement, something stronger waits. A quiet knowing, a steady voice that does not shout, it refuses to disappear. You were not built for average. You were built for ambrage. You were built for impact. There is something inside you that recognizes this. Even when you doubt, even when you hesitate, even when you hesitate, even when you hesitate, even when the world feels loud and crowded, you sense that your life is meant to move with intention. You sense that you are capable of more. But impact demands one thing: focus. Not scattered effort, not divided energy. Focus. Right now, your life stands at a turning point. Not tomorrow, not next year, now. Because the difference between the life you want and the life you live is attention directed with purpose. That is it. Not luck, not chance, not permission. Attention directed with purpose. Every great transformation begins with a narrowing, a decision to concentrate power instead of dispersing it. When sunlight is scattered, it warms. When it is focused, it ignites. You are here to ignite. This is the moment everything changes for you. Not because circumstances shift, not because the world becomes quieter, but because you choose to become clearer. Stand still, breathe in, feel the weight of your potential. It is not pressure, it is possibility. It is the awareness that your energy has been waiting for direction. Your mind has been waiting for command. Your future has been waiting for alignment. You know what needs to be done. You have known for some time the project you delay, the habit you postpone, the standard you almost accept. You know focus is not a skill reserved for a few. It is not a trait you either possess or lack. It is a decision, a line drawn, a commitment made. When you decide to focus, you decide to protect your energy. You decide to stop negotiating with distraction. You decide to treat your time as valuable. You decide that your goals deserve undivided attention. And today, you decide to stop drifting. You decide to stop reacting. You decide to lead your own attention. Stand up internally. Straighten your thoughts. Calm your breathing. This is not about intensity alone. It is about clarity. It is about choosing one direction and walking toward it without apology. You are capable of more depth, more discipline, more execution. You do not need to become someone else. You need to become focused. Imagine the version of you who wakes each morning with a clear target. No confusion, no scattered effort, just one priority, one direction, one disciplined step after another. That version is not distant. It begins here. It begins with this breath, this decision, this moment of alignment. The noise will still exist. The pull will still attempt to divide you, but you will be different. You will recognize distraction for what it is, a test of commitment, and you will pass because you have chosen, because you understand that attention is your most powerful asset. Where it goes, your life follows. Where it concentrates, results multiply. Feel that shift. Calm, steady, intentional. You are not rushing anymore. You are directing. This is the beginning of a different standard. A standard where your mind serves your mission, where your time reflects your values, where your actions match your ambition. You do not need permission. You need focus. And now you have chosen it. Let us begin. Chapter 1. The decision to focus. You feel scattered, not broken, not incapable, just divided. Your attention moves from one demand to another. Messages, ideas, responsibilities, opportunities, everything seems urgent. Everything asks for a piece of you, and so your energy spreads thin. You begin with intention, yet you end the day unsure of what truly moved forward. You were busy, you were active, but were you aligned? Pause, breathe. Notice the feeling. This is not failure, it is fragmentation, and fragmentation can be corrected. Imagine sunlight across a field. It warms gently. It touches everything, yet changes nothing. Now imagine that same light passing through a magnifying glass. It narrows, it intensifies, it ignites. The power was always there. The difference was focus. Your life works the same way. When your attention spreads across every distraction, you warm the surface of many things. But when you concentrate it, you create impact. You were not designed to scatter your strength. You were designed to direct it. Yet distraction has become normal. Small interruptions, endless scrolling, shifting priorities. The constant urge to check, respond, adjust. Each moment seems harmless. Each shift seems minor, but together they steal something priceless. They steal your future, not dramatically, not loudly, quietly, a minute here, a delay there, a postponed decision, a diluted effort. And over time, the gap widens between who you are and who you could become. You sense it, that quiet frustration, that subtle awareness that you are capable of more depth than you allow yourself to give. This is the conflict, you versus your old self. The old self reacts. The old self says yes to everything. The old self believes that constant movement equals progress. The old self fears missing out, so chases everything. But chasing everything means mastering nothing. And you were not built for mediocrity disguised as busyness. You were built for precision. Right now, you stand between two identities. One drifts, one decides. The drifting version of you wakes without a clear priority. It responds to what arrives. It feels slightly overwhelmed, slightly behind, slightly unsettled. The decisive version wakes with intention. It knows what matters most. It guards its attention. It moves with calm certainty. Which one will lead? You cannot become focused by accident. You cannot stumble into clarity. Focus begins with a conscious decision, a line drawn in your own mind, a declaration, no more divided energy, no more diluted energy, no more diluted effort, no more unconscious distraction. Decide, right now, not tomorrow, not of one more scroll, not when circumstances calm down. Right now, feel the weight of that command. Decide. You do not need permission. You do not need permission. You do not need perfect conditions. You need resolve. Choose one direction. It does not have to be every direction. It does not have to solve your entire life. It needs to be clear. It needs to be intentional. Choose one direction. When you choose, something shifts internally. The noise begins to lose power. The unnecessary begins to fall away. You stop asking, what should I do next, and begin stating, this is what I am doing. Stand up, decide. You may feel resistance. That is natural. The old self does not disappear quietly. It will remind you of unfinished tasks. It will tempt you with easy distractions. It will whisper that narrowing your focus means sacrificing something. It does. It means sacrificing confusion. It means sacrificing impulsive reactions. It means sacrificing the illusion that you can do everything at once, and what you gain is far greater. Clarity is power. When your mind locks onto one meaningful priority, your energy strengthens. Your thoughts organize. Your actions align. Momentum begins. Clarity removes friction. You no longer debate with yourself every hour. You no longer renegotiate your commitment every day. You no longer split your attention across competing impulses. You choose and you commit. Your excuses are gone, not because you were weak before, but because you are aware now. You see the cost of distraction. You recognize the hidden drain. You understand that scattered effort leads to scattered results, and you want more depth, more excellence, more mastery. Focus is not about doing less for the sake of less. It is about doing less so that what you do carries weight. When you eliminate distraction, you are not shrinking your world, you are sharpening it. Think of an archer. The arrow does not wander. It does not hesitate mid-air. It moves in one direction, guided by intention. Its power comes from alignment. You are the archer. Your attention is the arrow. Where will you aim? This is the moment you stop drifting through options and begin walking toward a chosen target. The relief comes quietly. Once you decide, the tension of indecision fades. The pressure of endless possibilities lightens. You are no longer overwhelmed by everything you could do. You are anchored by what you will do. Clarity feels lighter. It feels steady. It feels controlled. Notice that sensation. The mind relaxes when it has direction. You are not rushing. You are not frantic. You are deliberate. You are becoming deliberate. That is the seed. Not perfect, not flawless, deliberate. A deliberate person does not waste energy on what does not matter. A deliberate person understands that attention is finite. A deliberate person treats focus as a responsibility. You are becoming that person. Picture yourself tomorrow morning. You wake up. There is no confusion, no mental fog about where to begin. You know your priority. You move toward it calmly. You protect the first hour of your day. You resist the urge to scatter. You honor your decision. Imagine the momentum building over weeks. Your work deepens. Your confidence strengthens. Your reputation sharpens. People begin to feel the difference. You are less reactive, more centered, more intentional, not louder, clearer. That is the power of one decision. Focus does not demand perfection. It demands commitment. There will be moments when distraction returns. There will be days when your old patterns try to reappear. But now you are aware. Now you are conscious. Now you have chosen. And every time you choose again, your identity strengthens. Choose one direction. Stand up. Decide. Clarity is power. Your excuses are gone. You do not need more information. You do not need more motivation. You need alignment between your intention and your action. Right now, silently, define your direction. What matters most? What deserves your concentrated effort? Lock onto it. Feel your posture shift internally. Feel your mind narrow toward purpose. Feel your energy gather instead of scatter. This is not dramatic. It is disciplined. This is not temporary. It is foundational. You are stepping out of fragmentation and into focus. You are stepping out of reaction and into leadership. You are stepping out of confusion and into clarity. And this is only the beginning. Because once you decide to focus, you must learn to protect it. The world will continue to demand your attention. Opportunities will continue to appear. Noise will continue to exist. But you will not be the same. You have drawn the line. You have chosen your direction. And now, the real work begins. Chapter 2. Eliminating the noise. The noise is constant. It hums in the background of your day. It flashes across your screen. It vibrates in your pocket. It calls your name in subtle, persuasive ways. You wake up, and before your feet touch the floor, your attention is already claimed. Notifications, updates, messages, headlines, each one small. Each one harmless on its own, but together they form a storm. And you stand in the center of it. At first it feels productive. You are connected, informed, responsive. You answer quickly. You react instantly. You stay available. But pause for a moment. Is availability the same as effectiveness? You move from one input to another. A message, a video, a task, a reminder, a thought, another notification, another distraction. Your mind never stations. It shifts, it jumps, it fragments. This is not weakness. This is overstimulation. You are absorbing more information in a single day than generations before you faced in months. Your brain was not designed for endless interruption. It was designed for depth, for sustained attention, for meaningful engagement, yet you have trained it to expect novelty, constant novelty, and novelty feels exciting, until it becomes exhausting. You finish the day tired, yet unsure why. You feel busy, yet not fulfilled. Your mind feels crowded, yet strangely empty, because noise consumes energy. Digital noise, emotional noise, mental noise. Every alert pulls a thread of your focus. Every interruption resets your concentration. Every unnecessary input steals a fraction of your power, and fractions add up. You cannot focus while feeding distraction. Read that again internally. You cannot focus while feeding distraction. It is impossible to build strength while constantly dividing your attention. Imagine trying to lift a weight, but every few seconds someone taps your shoulder. You pause, you look, you reset, you begin again. Tap, reset, tap, reset, tap, reset. Would you ever build momentum? No. Focus requires continuity, and continuity requires protection. Right now, your mind may be overstimulated. Without you realizing it, you may crave silence, yet fear missing something. You may want depth, yet reach for distraction out of habit. This is the conflict. You versus your old self. The old self checks constantly. The old self believes every alert deserves attention. The old self confuses urgency with importance. But you are evolving. You are becoming deliberate. The truth is simple. Distraction is comfortable. It asks nothing of you. It requires no discipline. It provides quick hits of satisfaction. A scroll, a refresh, a new notification, a brief surge of interest. But quick satisfaction weakens long-term strength. Delayed gratification builds it. When you resist the urge to check, you strengthen your control. When you stay with a task despite boredom, you deepen your resilience. When you choose silence over stimulation, you sharpen your mind. This is not deprivation. This is training. Your attention is your greatest asset. And like any asset, it must be guarded. Strategic silence is not withdrawal. It is power. Strategic silence is not withdrawal. It is power. Silence allows your thoughts to settle. Silence allows ideas to mature. Silence allows clarity to rise. When you remove noise, you begin to hear yourself again. What do you truly want? What truly matters? Those answers cannot surface in chaos. They require space. Turn it off. Not forever, not dramatically, intentionally. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Turn off constant background noise. Turn off the expectation that you must respond instantly to everything. Step back, create distance from the stream of endless input. Protect the first hour of your day. Protect the last hour of your night. Create pockets of uninterrupted time. Protect your mind. Say it internally. Protect your mind. Your mind is not a public space. It is not open access. It is a command center. It directs your life. It shapes your decisions. It influences your identity, and a command center must be guarded. When you reduce noise, something remarkable happens. At first, there is discomfort. You reach for your device without thinking. You feel the urge to check. You feel the pull of habit. This is normal. You are not losing something. You are reclaiming something. You are reclaiming something. The old self seeks interruption. The old self fears quiet. The old self believes that silence equals missing out. But the new you understands something deeper. Silence equals strength. In silence, your attention stabilizes. In silence, your attention stabilizes. In silence, your thoughts stretch. In silence, your focus grows roots. You begin to notice how much energy you recover when you are not constantly reacting. You feel calmer, less rushed, less scattered. Peace enters gradually, not because the world changes, but because you changed your relationship with it. You do not need to consume everything. You do not need to answer immediately. You do not need to know every update the moment it appears. You need clarity, and clarity requires space. Imagine your mind as a room. Right now, it may be cluttered with open tabs, unfinished conversations, lingering alerts. When you reduce noise, it is like clearing the room, removing unnecessary objects, opening a window, letting fresh air circulate. You can think again. You can breathe again. You can choose again. Turn it off. Step back. Protect your mind. Each time you resist distraction, you strengthen self-command. Each time you delay gratification, you build discipline. Each time you choose silence, you deepen awareness. You are not isolating yourself from the world. You are positioning yourself from the world. You are positioning yourself to engage with it more powerfully, because focused attention creates quality results. Quality results create confidence. Confidence creates leadership. and leadership requires mental clarity. Picture yourself working in complete concentration. No notifications, no background interruptions, just you and the task. Time slows, depth increases, your thoughts become sharper, your output improves. That is your natural state. It has been buried under noise, but it is still there. You versus your old self. The old self reacts to every vibration. The new self responds only to what matters. The old self seeks constant stimulation. The new self seeks meaningful progress. Which one leads today? Peace in reduction. When you subtract distraction, you multiply power. When you reduce input, you increase impact. When you create silence, you discover strength. This is not about perfection. It is about direction. You do not need to eliminate every form of noise overnight. You need to begin. Choose specific boundaries. Designate focused time blocks. Delay checking until your priority is complete. Give your brain uninterrupted stretches to think deeply. At first, it may feel unfamiliar. Stay with it. Delayed gratification is uncomfortable in the beginning. It demands patience, it demands self-control, but it delivers something far greater than instant satisfaction. It delivers mastery. Your attention becomes stable, your thoughts become clearer, your emotions become calmer. You are less reactive, more intentional. Notice the shift. The tension decreases, the mind softens. You feel lighter. That is peace in reduction, not emptiness. Clarity. The world will still move fast, but you will choose. You will choose when to engage. You will choose what deserves your energy. You will choose how long you concentrate. This is power. You are not cutting yourself off from opportunity. You are increasing your capacity to seize the right ones. Noise is seductive. It offers immediacy, but focus offers fulfillment, and you're choosing fulfillment. Turn it off. Step back. Protect your mind. Let those commands settle. You are not behind. You are not overwhelmed. You are becoming disciplined. You are becoming selective. You are becoming selective. You are becoming strong. Every time you resist distraction, you prove to yourself that you are in control. Every time you choose silence, you reinforce your identity as a focused individual. You are training your brain to prefer depth over novelty, and that changes everything. Imagine waking tomorrow and not reaching immediately for noise. Imagine beginning your day in stillness. Imagine deciding your priority before the world decides for you. That is leadership. Leadership begins with self-command. Say it now, quietly but firmly. I am ready. Ready to reduce. Ready to protect. Ready to focus. The noise does not disappear on its own. You eliminate it. And as you do, your mind grows stronger, clearer, sharper. The storm quiets. The room clears. Your attention steadies. And now, with less noise around you, you can hear something powerful rising within you. Direction. Chapter 3. The discipline of attention. Focus is not a gift. It is not something you are born with or without. It is trained, just like strength, just like endurance, just like leadership. You build it, and you build it daily. Imagine walking into a gym for the first time. You lift a weight. It feels heavy. Your muscles tremble. You question whether you can continue. But you do one repetition, then another, then another. The first day does not transform your body, but it begins something. The second day feels slightly easier. The third day you notice control. Weeks later you move differently. You stand differently. You feel stronger. Focus works the same way. Your attention is a muscle, and right now you are training it. Every time you resist distraction, you perform a repetition. Every time you return your mind to the task at hand, you strengthen your discipline. Every time you complete what you start, you increase your mental endurance. Small daily wins. That is the foundation. You do not need dramatic breakthroughs. You need consistent action. You need moments where you choose to stay instead of wander, where you choose to finish instead of quit, where you choose to deepen instead of escape. At first, your mind will resist. It will search for easier stimulation. It will crave novelty. It will whisper that you can return to focus later. But you are not negotiating anymore. You are training. Think of a craftsman shaping stone. Each strike of the hammer may appear small, yet each one shapes the structure. Each one contributes to the final masterpiece. Your small acts of discipline shape your identity. Complete one focused session today, then another tomorrow. Protect a single hour, then extend it. Stay with a task 5 minutes longer than you normally would, then extend that too. Do it again and again and again. Consistency is built through repetition. There is no shortcut. There is no sudden moment where discipline appears fully formed. It grows through practice, through repetition, through the willingness to remain steady when boredom appears. Boredom is not your enemy. It is a doorway. When you push past the urge to escape boredom, you enter depth. When you stay with a task long enough to move beyond surface discomfort, you reach mastery. This is where many people turn back, not because they lack talent, not because they lack ambition, but because they lack discipline of attention. You are different. You understand that focus is a skill developed through friction. Friction is not failure. Friction is growth. There will be moments when your concentration wavers, when your thoughts drift, when your energy dips. Return, that is the key. Return, that is the key. Return. Do not criticize yourself. Do not abandon the effort. Simply return. Each return strengthens the muscle. Each return builds resilience. Each return reinforces identity. You are not aiming for perfect concentration. You are aiming for consistent redirection. Imagine a river cutting through stone. It does not force the change overnight. It continues flowing. Day after day, year after year. Persistence shapes power. Your attention can shape your future the same way. You sit down to work. 10 minutes pass. Your mind drifts. You notice. You return. That return matters. You return. That return matters. You protect another block of time. You complete a task fully before beginning another. That completion matters. You delay checking until your priority is finished. That delay matters. Small daily wins. They may not look impressive from the outside, but internally something is shifting. Your self-trust grows. Your confidence strengthens. You begin to believe in your own consistency. This is how discipline becomes identity. Do it again, and again, and again. There will be days when motivation is high, focus feels easy, momentum flows naturally. Do not rely on those days. There will also be days when focus feels heavy, when distractions feel louder, when energy feels lower. Train on those days. That is where strength forms. Stay with it. Keep going. Don't break. When the urge to stop appears, observe it. When the temptation to switch tasks rises, acknowledge it. When discomfort builds, breathe through it. Stay with it. You are not trapped. You are choosing to remain. Keep going. Even when progress feels slow, even when results are not immediate, even when the task feels repetitive. Because every time you break prematurely, you reinforce weakness. Every time you endure incomplete, you reinforce power. Short bursts of discipline build long-term stability. This is your first transformation. You are no longer dependent on mood. You are no longer controlled by impulse. You are choosing repetition over randomness. Stay with it. Keep going. Don't break. Feel the intensity rising. Feel your commitment strengthening. Your mind wants novelty. You give it direction. Your impulses want ease. You give them structure. Your old self wants stimulation. You choose consistency. Do it again, and again, and again. The transformation peak is not loud. It is internal. You realize something profound. Discipline gives freedom. At first, discipline feels restrictive. It feels like rules. It feels like limitation. But when you look closely, you see the truth. Discipline frees you from chaos. Discipline frees you from indecision. Discipline frees you from regret. When you finish what you start, you feel lighter. When you follow through on commitments, you feel stronger. When you protect your focus, you feel in control. Freedom is not doing whatever you want at any moment. Freedom is knowing you can direct yourself. That is power. That is leadership. The disciplined mind does not panic under pressure. It does not crumble at distraction. It does not abandon goals halfway. It stays. It endures. It completes. And with each completion, your confidence deepens. You begin to trust yourself. That trust is invaluable. You no longer wonder whether you will follow through. You know you will. You no longer question whether you can sustain effort. You have proven that you can. Your daily wins accumulate. One focused session becomes two. Two become a habit. Habits become standards. Standards become identity. You are becoming consistent. Say it internally. You are becoming consistent. Say it internally. You are becoming consistent. Consistency does not mean perfection. It means reliability. It means showing up even when motivation fluctuates. It means honoring your commitments to yourself. When you honor yourself, your self-respect grows. When your self-respect grows, your standards rise. And when your standards rise, your results follow. Look back at the scattered version of you, uncertain, reactive, drifting between tasks. That version served a purpose. It showed you what happens without discipline. Now you are building something different. You sit down with intention. You protect your time. You complete your priorities. You repeat the process tomorrow. Do it again, and again, and again, and again. Each repetition strengthens the muscle. Each repetition sharpens the blade. Each repetition solidifies your identity. You are not chasing motivation anymore. You are building discipline, and discipline builds greatness. Imagine weeks from now, your focus feels steadier, your sessions feel deeper, your output improves. You notice how much more you accomplish with fewer distractions. You feel calmer because you are no longer fragmented. You move with purpose. Others begin to notice, not because you speak louder, but because you execute consistently. That is influence. That is quiet leadership. The discipline of attention is not glamorous. It is deliberate. It is repetitive. It is powerful. And it belongs to you. Stay with it. Keep going. Don't break. When distractions appear, return. When boredom surfaces, continue. When resistance rises, push through. You are not forcing yourself into something unnatural. You are training yourself into something stronger. You are becoming consistent, and consistency changes everything. Because once attention becomes disciplined, your potential begins to expand without limit. The muscle is forming, the foundation is set, and now your focus is ready to aim at something even greater. Chapter 4. Vision creates direction. Focus without vision is fragile. You can discipline your attention. You can protect your time. You can train your mind to resist distraction. But if you do not know where you are going, your effort begins to fade. Energy needs direction. Discipline needs purpose. Without vision, focus collapses. Imagine standing at a crossroads with no sign, no map, no destination in mind. You could walk with strength. You could move with speed, but every step would feel uncertain. Doubt would grow, motivation would weaken. You would question whether your movement matters. Now imagine standing at that same crossroads with clarity. You know exactly where you are headed. You can see it in your mind. You understand why it matters. Suddenly your steps feel different, stronger, intentional. Vision creates that difference. Close your eyes internally. Picture your future self, not a vague version. Not a distant fantasy, a clear, detailed presence. The way you stand, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, the way you lead, the calm in your eyes, the certainty in your voice. See it clearly. This future version of you is not rushed, not scattered, not unsure. This version moves with purpose. Every action aligns with a greater direction. Every decision reflects a defined standard. See it clearly. Where do you wake up? What kind of work fills your day? What impact do you create? What values guide your choices? What habits structure your time? Do not rush the image. Let it form. Vision is not about wishful thinking. It is about intentional imagination. When you see your future self clearly, your brain begins to align your present actions with that image. Without vision, your focus will drift. With vision, your focus locks in. There is tension between drifting and directed living. Drifting feels easy. It requires no plan, no commitment, no clear aim. You respond to whatever appears. You allow circumstances to shape your path. Days pass, weeks pass, effort exists, but direction is unclear. Directed living feels different. It begins with a decision. You choose the identity you are building. You choose the destination you are walking toward. You choose the standard you will uphold. See it clearly. The drifting version of you wakes and checks what the world demands. The directed version wakes and checks what the vision requires. The drifting version reacts. The directed version leads. Which one are you strengthening? Vision reduces confusion. When you know who you are becoming, many decisions disappear. Certain distractions lose their appeal. Certain habits lose their power. Certain opportunities no longer tempt you. Because they do not align, vision simplifies. See it clearly. Your future self is disciplined not because it is forced, but because it is aligned. That version understands that each focused session is a brick in a larger structure. Each act of discipline is an investment in identity. You are not working for today, you are building for tomorrow. Strategic future, pacing changes everything. Imagine yourself 5 years ahead. You have protected your focus consistently. You have trained your attention daily. You have eliminated noise intentionally. You have repeated small wins relentlessly. Where are you now? Your skills are sharper. Your confidence is deeper. Your presence is stronger. Your work carries weight. Your words carry authority. See it clearly. Now imagine the alternative. 5 years of drifting, 5 years of scattered effort, 5 years of half commitment. Feel the difference. The tension between those futures is powerful. One is shaped by vision, one is shaped by chance. Vision demands responsibility. When you define who you are becoming, you remove excuses. You cannot blame confusion when the destination is clear. You cannot blame distraction when your direction is defined. Clarity eliminates escape routes. See it clearly. This is not about comparison. It is about alignment. You are not competing with others. You are committing to your own standard. Your future self is waiting, not passively, expectantly. Every time you choose focus, you move closer. Every time you protect your discipline, you narrow the gap. Without vision, your discipline feels heavy. With vision, it feels meaningful. When you are tired, vision reminds you why you started. When temptation appears, vision reminds you what you are building. When progress feels slow, vision reassures you that growth is cumulative. Say it internally. I decide who I become, not circumstances, not distractions, not external pressure. You decide. This affirmation is not dramatic. It is foundational. I decide who I become. Repeat it. I decide who I become. Repeat it. I decide who I become. Feel the ownership in those words. You are not waiting for transformation. You are engineering it. See it clearly. Picture a day in your future life. You wake up with intention. Your environment reflects discipline. Your schedule reflects priorities. Your habits reflect vision. Your posture reflects confidence. You do not rush. You do not scatter. You move with direction. That image is not unreachable. It is built through daily alignment. Vision must be specific enough to guide action. What skills must you master? What habits must you eliminate? What standards must you raise? What distractions must you remove? See it clearly. When the vision sharpens, the path simplifies. You do not need to chase every opportunity. You choose the ones aligned with your direction. You do not need to say yes to everything. You say yes to what advances your mission. Vision filters. Without it, everything looks equally important. With it, priorities become obvious. You versus your old self. The old self drifts from one idea to another. It sets vague goals. It abandons them when excitement fades. It changes direction with every new influence. The new self anchors to vision. The new self recurs to vision. The new self returns to purpose daily. The new self measures actions against identity. See it clearly. The more detailed your vision, the stronger your discipline becomes. Describe your future self in concrete terms. How does this version manage time? How does it respond to pressure? How does it speak? How does it handle distraction? Answer those questions honestly, then begin acting accordingly. You do not become your vision overnight. You align with it daily. Strategic future pacing requires repetition. Imagine 1 year from now, you have honored your focus consistently. You have refined your habits. You have clarified your direction. You have strengthened your attention muscle. You feel different, more centered, more confident, more decisive. Now imagine that future version looking back at you today. What advice would it give? Protect your focus, stay consistent, eliminate noise, commit fully. It would not tell you to wait. It would tell you to move. See it clearly. When doubt appears, return to the image. When distraction tempts, return to the image. When fatigue surfaces, return to the image. Vision fuels endurance. The drifting path may feel easier in the moment. It demands less structure, less accountability, less discipline, but it produces less fulfillment. The directed path demands intention, and it produces growth. You are not here to drift. You are here to drift. You are here to direct. See it clearly. Hold the image of your future self steady in your mind. Let it guide your choices. Let it influence your habits. Let it shape your schedule. Every focused session becomes meaningful. Every disciplined action becomes purposeful. Every small win becomes part of a larger story. You are writing that story, line by line, day by day. Say it again. I decide who I become. Not once, repeatedly. I decide who I become. When you internalize that statement, something shifts. You stop waiting for motivation. You stop waiting for perfect timing. You stop waiting for external validation. You begin leading yourself. Vision creates direction. Direction sustains focus. Focus produces results. Results reinforce identity. And identity solidifies vision. This cycle strengthens with repetition. See it clearly. Your future self is not a fantasy. It is a blueprint. And today, you align your attention with that blueprint. Drifting ends here. Direction begins now. Hold the vision steady, because in the next stage you will learn how to guard the energy required to bring it fully to life. Chapter 5. Guarding your energy. Focus is not sustained by willpower alone. It is sustained by energy. You can have vision, you can have discipline, you can have direction, but if your energy leaks, your focus weakens. Energy is the fuel behind attention. It powers your decisions. It stabilizes your emotions. It strengthens your persistence. Without it, even the clearest vision begins to blur. So now, you must learn to guard it. Imagine your life as a fortress, strong walls, clear gates, watchful guards. Inside that fortress lives your focus, your ambition, your creativity, your future. Outside, there is movement. Noise, demands, opinions, requests, distractions. Not all of them are harmful, but not all of them belong inside. If a fortress has no walls, everything enters. If everything enters, chaos grows. If chaos grows, leadership collapses. You are building walls, not walls of isolation, walls of insulation, walls of intention. Energy protection begins with awareness. Notice what drains you. Certain conversations leave you exhausted. Certain environments scatter your thoughts. Certain commitments overextend your time. Certain habits fragment your attention. You feel it in your body. Tension, fatigue, irritation, restlessness. These are signals. Your energy is being spent without purpose. Focus requires energy protection. Say it internally. Focus requires energy protection. You cannot pour your strength into every request. You cannot respond emotionally to every situation. You cannot carry the weight of every opinion. Your energy is finite. Guard it. Emotional boundaries are not harsh, they are intelligent. They are the quiet understanding that not every conflict requires your involvement. Not every disagreement requires your reaction. Not every criticism requires your defense. Calm authority replaces emotional urgency. When you build boundaries, you reduce internal noise. You conserve mental clarity. You protect the space required for deep work and meaningful progress. Think of a battery. If it powers everything constantly, it drains quickly, but if it powers only what matters most, it sustains longer, it operates efficiently, it supports high performance. You are learning efficiency. The old version of you may have said yes too often. It may have tried to please everyone. It may have allowed others to dictate your time. It may have engaged in every debate, every distraction, every emotional exchange. That version was available. This version is selective. Silence becomes strength. You do not announce every plan. You do not share every goal prematurely. You do not seek validation before execution. Silence protects momentum. When you speak less about your intentions, you protect your energy for action. When you stop explaining yourself unnecessarily, you conserve emotional reserves. When you choose not to react, you remain centered. There is power in quiet progress. You do not owe everyone access to your time. You do not owe everyone access to your time. You do not owe everyone immediate responses. You do not owe everyone your emotional engagement. You owe yourself focus. Calm authority is steady. It does not argue loudly. It does not defend constantly. It does not explain excessively. It simply chooses, and it stands by that choice. Remove what drains you, not with anger, with clarity. Examine your schedule. Where is your energy leaking? Examine your conversations. Which ones uplift you? Which ones exhaust you? Examine your habits. Which strengthen you? Which weaken you? Be honest. Energy drains often appear small. One unnecessary scroll, one prolonged complaint, one extra commitment, one reactive argument. But repeated daily, they erode strength. You are building something meaningful. That requires conservation. Imagine a warrior preparing for battle. Would they waste strength before the mission begins? Would they engage in unnecessary conflict? Would they scatter attention across trivial matters? No, they prepare, they conserve, they focus. Your mission may not be a battlefield, but it is significant. Remove what drains you. Say no when necessary. Step back when needed. Limit exposure to negativity. Reduce environments that fragment your thinking. Increase environments that elevate your standards. Energy protection is not selfish, it is strategic. When you protect your energy, you enhance your contribution. You show up stronger, clearer, more effective. You lead better. You think deeper. You act decisively. Boundaries create stability. At first, setting boundaries may feel uncomfortable. You may worry about disappointing others. You may fear being misunderstood. You may hesitate to change patterns that feel familiar. Stay steady. Strength in boundaries grows with repetition. When you decline what does not align, you create space for what does. When you reduce unnecessary engagement, you amplify meaningful effort. When you protect your time, you multiply productivity. Feel the relief, less emotional noise, less unnecessary urgency, more clarity, more calm. Energy protection also includes internal boundaries. Not every thought deserves attention. Not every doubt deserves analysis. Not every fear deserves authority. When negative self-talk appears, observe it. Do not entertain it. Do not amplify it. Return to your vision. Return to your discipline. Guard the inside of your fortress as carefully as the outside. Your mind must remain strong. You are not closing yourself off from the world. You are choosing intentional engagement. You are choosing where to invest your strength. Escalate your standards. Remove what drains you. Remove what distracts you. Remove what diminishes you. Keep what strengthens you. Keep what challenges you constructively. Keep what aligns with your vision. You are selective now. Repeat it internally. You are selective now. Selective with time. Selective with conversation. Selective with commitment. Selective with attention. Selection creates focus. Focus creates excellence. Excellence requires energy. The connection is clear. Picture your fortress stronger now. The walls are defined. The gates are guarded. Inside, your vision stands protected. Your discipline operates undisturbed. Your focus deepens without interruption. Outside, the world still moves. Opportunities still appear. Conversations still happen. But you choose what enters. That choice is power. Energy flows where attention goes. And now your attention is directed deliberately. You do not chase every invitation. You evaluate. You do not absorb every opinion. You filter. You do not react to every provocation. You remain calm. Calm authority. This is not about becoming distant. It is about becoming centered. When you are centered, your decisions improve. When your decisions improve, your progress accelerates. When your progress accelerates, your confidence strengthens. Energy protection fuels momentum. Without it, burnout appears. With it, endurance grows. You want endurance. You want sustainable excellence. That requires boundaries. Consider your mornings. How do they begin? Are they rushed, reactive, fragmented, or intentional? Protected, structured. Guard your mornings. Consider your evenings. Do they drain you with unnecessary input, or do they restore you with calm reflection? Guard your evenings. Consider your relationships. Do they uplift your standards or lower them? Guard your associations. You are not isolating yourself. You are aligning yourself. The more aligned you become, the more efficient your energy becomes. There is relief in boundaries. Relief in knowing you do not need to respond to everything. Relief in understanding that your time is valuable. Relief in recognizing that protecting your energy is an act of leadership. Leadership begins within. You lead yourself first. By guarding your focus, by conserving your strength, by choosing your engagements wisely. You are selective now, and selectivity increases power. Imagine the impact of 1 year of protected energy, 1 year of reduced distraction, 1 year of intentional boundaries, 1 year of calm authority. Your focus would deepen, your output would multiply, your presence would strengthen, others would sense it, not because you announce it, but because you embody it. Energy protection is invisible from a distance, but powerful up close. You walk differently, you speak differently, you decide differently, because your energy is not scattered, it is concentrated. You are not overwhelmed, you are composed. The fortress stands strong, steady, guarded. Inside, your vision grows. Inside, your discipline strengthens. Inside, your vision strengthens. Inside, your focus sharpens. Outside, the noise continues, but it does not control you. Remove what drains you. Strengthen what fuels you. Stand firm in your boundaries. You are selective now, and because you are selective, you are powerful. Because you are powerful, you are focused, and because you are focused, your next level is closer than ever. Chapter 6. Delayed Gratification Mastery. There is a quiet law that governs greatness. It is not loud, it is not glamorous, it is rarely celebrated in the moment, but it determines everything. The focused mind sacrifices short-term comfort for long-term power. Imagine a field at the beginning of a season. The soil is empty. No crops, no visible reward, no immediate proof that anything is happening. A person kneels down and plants seeds, one by one, no applause, no instant harvest, just effort placed beneath the surface. Then comes the waiting, the watering, the protection, the patience. Days pass, nothing visible. Weeks pass, still nothing obvious. If you judged only by what you see, you would think nothing is happening. But beneath the soil, roots are forming, growth is happening in silence. This is delayed gratification. You plant effort today, you protect it, you wait, and you trust that growth is occurring beyond your immediate vision. Most people do not quit because they lack talent. They quit because they cannot tolerate the waiting. They crave immediate feedback, immediate success, immediate comfort. But greatness rarely arrives immediately. It grows, slowly, silently, deliberately. You versus your old self. The old self wants reward now. The old self wants recognition now. The old self wants comfort now. The new self understands something deeper. Comfort now can cost power later. And you are here for power. When you sit down to work and choose focus instead of scrolling, you are planting seeds. When you choose training instead of indulgence, you are planting seeds. When you choose discipline instead of distraction, you are planting seeds. At first it feels like sacrifice. You feel the pull of comfort. You feel the desire for ease. You feel the temptation to reward yourself early. This is the emotional struggle. It is not dramatic. It is subtle. It whispers, "You have done enough. You can relax. You deserve a break." And sometimes rest is wise. But often that whisper is impatience disguised as self-care. Delayed gratification requires awareness. You must know the difference between restoration and escape. Wait. When the impulse arises to stop too soon, wait. Hold. When the desire to chase quick satisfaction appears, hold. Trust. When results are not immediate, trust. These commands are simple, but they are powerful. Wait. Not forever, just long enough to strengthen your resolve. Hold, not rigidly, but firmly enough to protect your goal. Trust, not blindly, but firmly enough to protect your goal. Trust, not blindly, but confidently enough to continue planting. Think again of the field. If the farmer dug up the seed every day to check its progress, would it grow? No. Growth requires faith in process. You are building something that cannot be rushed. Skill takes time. Reputation takes time. Leadership takes time. Leadership takes time. Mastery takes time. Mastery takes time. Mastery takes time. The focused mind understands this. It does not panic in silence. It does not crumble in waiting. It stays. But the old self grows restless. It wants applause before achievement. It wants ease before endurance. It wants results without repetition. This is the moment of decision. Future over impulse. Say it internally. Future over impulse. Each time you choose long-term growth over short-term comfort, you strengthen your identity. You become someone who can endure, and endurance creates advantage. Look around. Many begin, few persist. Many promise, few deliver. Many are excited at the start. Few remain disciplined in the middle. Delayed gratification is the dividing line. You are crossing it. The tension intensifies when effort continues without visible reward. You work, you practice, you refine, but the results are not yet obvious. Doubt tries to appear. Is this working? Is this worth it? Wait, hold, trust. The roots are forming. Every repetition strengthens unseen structure. Every focus session builds capacity. Every disciplined choice compounds. Compounding is quiet. It does not shout. It accumulates. Imagine stacking bricks one at a time. The first few bricks look insignificant, but stack them daily and a structure rises. You may not see dramatic transformation in a week, but in a year you will see power. This is transformation peak number 2. The moment when you refuse to break. Stay disciplined, even when it is boring, even when it is slow, even when it is unseen. Stay disciplined. Future over impulse. When temptation rises, choose the future. When comfort calls, choose the mission. When impatience grows, choose endurance. Choose greatness, not once. Repeatedly, stay disciplined. Future over impulse. Repeatedly, stay disciplined. Future over impulse. Choose greatness. Feel the intensity. You are no longer negotiating with your lower impulses. You are not surrendering to convenience. You are not trading tomorrow's strength for today's ease. You are building long-term power. That power shows up later, in opportunities you are ready for, in challenges you can handle, in responsibilities you can carry. Patience becomes strength. At first, patience feels like restraint. Later, it feels like control. Control over your desires, control over your reactions, control over your directions. You are not suppressing yourself. You are mastering yourself. And mastery creates freedom. Freedom from regret. Freedom from inconsistency. freedom from wasted potential. Imagine meeting your future self 5 years from now. That version of you thanks you for waiting, thanks you for holding, thanks you for trusting, because the seeds you planted are now visible. The harvest has arrived. Confidence that cannot be shaken, skill that cannot be faked, presence that cannot be ignored, all built through patience. The old self would have quit early. The old self would have quit early. The old self would have chased shortcuts. The old self would have demanded proof before continuing. You are different. You understand that the strongest growth happens underground, invisible, silent, slow, and powerful. Each time you resist immediate gratification, you send a message to yourself. I am in control. I am committed. I am serious. This message strengthens identity. You are becoming someone who can endure discomfort without collapsing. You are becoming someone who values the future more than fleeting pleasure. You are becoming someone who finishes what they start. Wait, hold, trust. These words are not passive. They are active commands. They require strength. And you have that strength. Feel the shift. Impatience softens. Confidence rises. The need for instant reward fades. Long-term vision becomes clearer. Patience becomes power. This is not about denying joy. It is about sequencing it. Work first. Reward later. Plant first. Harvest later. Train first. Win later. The focused mind understands sequence, and sequence builds stability. Every time you delay gratification, you expand your capacity. You stretch your discipline. You reinforce your resilience. You become harder to shake, harder to distract, harder to defeat, because your strength is not built on excitement. It is built on endurance. Stay disciplined. Future over impulse. Choose greatness. The emotional relief comes when you realize you are capable of this. You are capable of waiting. You are capable of holding. You are capable of holding. You are capable of trusting the process. You are not fragile. You are focused. And with every seed you plant, with every moment of restraint, with every disciplined decision, you move closer to a harvest that will speak for itself. The field is quiet, but growth is happening. And you are just getting started. Chapter 7. Identity shift. Becoming unstoppable. There comes a moment in every transformation when effort begins to feel different. At the beginning, you forced focus. You protected your time deliberately. You resisted distraction consciously. You practiced discipline with intention. It required thought. It required reminders. It required constant correction. But now something is shifting. Focus is no longer something you try to do. It is becoming who you are. This is the identity shift, and identity changes everything. When behavior is forced, it is fragile. When behavior is identity, it is stable. At first you said, I will try to focus. Now you say, I am focused. Feel the difference. Trying depends on mood. Being depends on belief. You are no longer negotiating with distraction every hour. You are not debating whether to protect your time. You are not questioning whether to finish what you start. You act, because that is who you are becoming. Embodiment replaces effort. The disciplined version of you is no longer a temporary mode. It is a permanent posture. You sit differently. You plan differently. You respond differently. Calm authority begins to define you. Authority does not shout. It does not rush. It does not seek approval. It moves with certainty. When your focus becomes identity, you stop chasing motivation. You stop waiting for the perfect emotional state. You stop relying on external validation. You lead yourself. Leadership is first internal. Before you guide others, you command your own attention. Before you influence a room, you influence your own decisions. Before you inspire externally, you stabilize internally. You are doing that now. Each disciplined day reinforced something deeper than habit. It reinforced self-concept. You are not someone who quits early. You are not someone who chases every distraction. You are not someone who abandons vision when comfort calls. You are becoming unstoppable, not because you are aggressive, but because you are consistent. Consistency builds credibility, first with yourself, When you repeatedly show up, follow through, and protect your focus, your self-trust strengthens. You begin to believe in your own word. You begin to rely on your own discipline. Self-trust creates confidence, and confidence creates momentum. Notice how you feel now compared to when you began. Less scattered, less reactive, more grounded, more deliberate. You are not forcing discipline anymore. You are embodying it. The old self hesitated. The old self overanalyzed. The old self reacted emotionally to every challenge. That version had potential, but it lacked identity. Now, identity is forming. Identity answers questions before doubt can appear. Will I finish this? Yes. Will I stay focused? Yes. Will I protect my energy? Yes. Because that is who you are. You are someone who follows through. You are someone who guards attention. You are someone who builds long-term power. Identity simplifies decisions. When focus becomes part of who you are, distractions lose their influence. They may still appear, but they no longer dominate. You see them clearly. You choose deliberately. You move on. Calm authority. You do not rush into every opportunity. You evaluate. You align. You commit intentionally. You do not explain your discipline to everyone. You live it quietly. You do not argue with your goals. You honor them. This is strength without noise. The unstoppable person is not frantic. They are steady. They are not driven by impulse. They are guided by principle. Focus has moved from effort to embodiment. Say it internally. I rise, not tomorrow, now. I rise above distraction. I rise above distraction. I rise above inconsistency. I rise above the old habits that once limited me. These affirmations are not empty phrases. They are identity reinforcement. When you say, I rise, you are claiming elevation. Elevation in standards. Elevation in discipline. Elevation in standards. Elevation in discipline. Every time you protect your focus, you reinforce your identity. Every time you complete what you begin, you strengthen your belief. Every time you choose long-term power over short-term comfort, you elevate your character. Unstoppable does not mean you never face resistance. It means resistance no longer stops you. Challenges still exist. Distractions still appear, pressure still builds, but your foundation is stronger, your habits are stable, your self-concept is firm. You are someone who continues. This internal leadership changes how you move in the world. Others begin to sense it, not because you announce it, but because you embody it. You speak with clarity, you act with precision, you decide with confidence. People feel steadiness around you. They recognize consistency. They trust reliability because identity shows. It cannot be hidden. Leadership is not just about directing others. It is about modeling discipline. When you walk into a room grounded and focused, you influence the environment. When you complete tasks without excuses, you elevate standards. When you remain calm under pressure, you create stability. This is the ripple effect of identity. It begins within and expands outward. Imagine facing a challenge that once overwhelmed you. Now you approach it differently. You do not panic. You do not scatter. You break it down. You apply focus. You execute step by step. That difference is identity. The unstoppable version of you is not reckless. It is controlled. Control over attention. Control over energy. Control over response. That control is freedom. Freedom from chaos, freedom from impulsive decisions, freedom from regret. When you know who you are, you do not bend easily. Your standards are set, your vision is clear, your discipline is practiced. You rise, each day reinforces the shift, morning discipline, focused work blocks, protected boundaries, intentional rest. Repetition builds identity. Identity builds resilience. Resilience builds greatness. You are no longer trying to change. You are becoming. The gap between intention and action shrinks. The gap between vision and execution narrows, because identity aligns both. There is confidence growing inside you now, not arrogance, not noise, confidence rooted in evidence. You have proven to yourself that you can focus, that you can endure, that you can protect your energy, that you can delay gratification. Proof strengthens belief. Belief strengthens action. Action strengthens results. Results strengthen identity. This cycle is powerful. You are building it daily. I rise. Say it again internally. I rise. Rise above old habits. Rise above doubt. Rise above doubt. Rise above the impulse to quit early. Rise into leadership. Leadership begins with self-command. When you command your attention, you command your direction. When you command your direction, you command your future. Unstoppable is not a label you claim. It is a pattern you repeat, day after day, choice after choice. You are not chasing perfection. You are embodying discipline. You are not demanding applause. You are building strength. The identity shift feels subtle at first, then undeniable. You notice you do not hesitate as long. You notice you do not justify distraction. You notice you return to focus automatically. That is embodiment. Focus no longer feels heavy. It feels natural. You are selective with your time, intentional with your energy, precise with your decisions. Calm authority defines your presence. This is the moment where transformation solidifies. You are no longer building focus. You are living it. You are no longer practicing discipline. You are demonstrating it. You are no longer hoping for consistency. You are consistent. And consistency makes you unstoppable. There will still be difficult days. There will still be moments of fatigue. But they no longer define you. They challenge you, and you respond. Steady, grounded, committed. I rise. Rise into your new identity. Rise into your new identity. Rise into your standards. Rise into your leadership. This is not temporary motivation. It is permanent alignment. You have trained your attention. You have guarded your energy. You have mastered delayed gratification. Now those practices have merged into identity. You are becoming unstoppable, not because nothing can slow you down, but because nothing can make you quit. Feel the strength in that truth. You are someone who continues, someone who finishes, someone who finishes, someone who protects vision and executes consistently. Identity has shifted. Effort has become embodiment. And from this place of internal leadership, you are ready to expand your influence beyond yourself. Because when focus becomes identity, your presence begins to shape the world around you. Chapter 8. Leading through focus leadership is not volume. It is not noise. It is not constant movement. It is not demanding attention. Leadership is direction embodied, and direction begins with focus. When your focus stabilizes, your presence changes. When your presence changes, the environment responds. People may not understand exactly why, but they feel it. Clarity carries weight. Imagine walking into a room where everyone is distracted, conversations overlap, devices glow, attention shifts constantly, energy is scattered. Now imagine one person entering quietly, not rushed, not frantic, not seeking approval, steady, composed, intentional. The room senses it. Focused individuals influence environments, not because they speak first, but because they are centered. Focus radiates outward. It affects tone. It shapes posture. It stabilizes emotion. It slows unnecessary reaction. When you are internally disciplined, you become externally reliable. People look for reliability. In chaos, they look for steadiness. In confusion, they look for clarity. In uncertainty, they look for direction. You become that anchor. Think of a lighthouse standing at the edge of a restless sea. Waves crash, winds roar, storms pass. The lighthouse does not chase the ships. It does not panic. It does not argue with the storm. It stands, and because it stands, it guides. You are becoming that lighthouse. You do not chase attention, you command it. Command does not mean control over others. It means control over yourself. When you command your thoughts, your tone stabilizes. When you command your attention, your words become precise. When you command your emotions, your presence becomes powerful. People trust emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence begins with awareness. You notice the energy in the room. You sense tension before it escalates. You read subtle cues. You respond thoughtfully. Focus sharpens perception. When your mind is not fragmented, you observe more. You listen more. You respond less impulsively. You create space before reacting. Strategic pauses are powerful. You do not rush to fill silence. You do not rush to respond instantly. You do not rush to defend unnecessarily. You do not rush to defend unnecessarily. You pause, and that pause communicates strength, because strength is not frantic, it is measured. When others speak, you listen fully, not partially, not while planning your reply. Fully. That attention alone changes interactions. People feel heard, they feel respected. They feel respected. They feel valued. Focused listening builds influence. Influence builds leadership. Command presence is quiet. It is posture aligned with purpose. It is voice steady under pressure. It is eyes attentive without aggression. It is decisions made without hesitation. You do not need to dominate a room. You need to stabilize it. When tension rises, you do not escalate. You ground. When confusion spreads, you clarify. When distraction appears, you redirect. That is leadership through focus. Your internal discipline now expresses externally. Imagine a meeting where ideas conflict, voices rise, opinions clash, emotions build. The old version of you might have reacted quickly, spoken impulsively, tried to compete for control. The new version observes first. You assess the direction. You identify the core issue. You speak only when your words add clarity. You do not chase attention, you command it. Because when you speak with precision, people listen. Your focus creates trust. Trust creates authority. Authority creates impact. Authority is not given by title. It is earned by consistency. When people see that you complete what you start, that you remain steady under pressure, that you make decisions thoughtfully, they begin to rely on you. Reliability attracts responsibility. Responsibility expands influence. Leadership metaphors exist everywhere in nature. Consider a mountain. Storms hit it, winds strike it, seasons change around it, yet it remains grounded. It does not chase the storm. It does not compete with the wind. It stands. And because it stands, it shapes the landscape. Your focus is that mountain. Distraction may swirl around you. Urgency may demand your reaction. Emotion may attempt to pull you into chaos. Stand firm, hold steady, lead. Short commands, clear posture. Stand firm, hold steady, lead. Short commands, clear posture. Stand firm. When pressure builds, do not bend unnecessarily. Remain aligned with your values. Hold steady. When others panic, breathe. When others rush, pause. When others scatter, center. Lead. When clarity is needed, provide it. When direction is absent, define it. When action is required, initiate it. This is transformation peak number 3. Stand firm, hold steady, lead, feel the rhythm. Stand firm, hold steady, lead. Leadership through focus is not about controlling every outcome. It is about controlling your response. You influence environments by modeling composure. You elevate conversations by bringing clarity. You shift energy by remaining grounded. Others may not articulate it, but they feel it. Present speaks before words. When you walk into a room aligned, focused, intentional, you communicate confidence without arrogance. You do not need to compete, for to mutual. Emotional intelligence deepens this influence. You sense when someone feels unheard. You notice when someone is overwhelmed. You recognize subtle shifts in tone and posture. Focus allows perception. Perception allows empathy. Empathy strengthens leadership. You do not lead by force. You lead by awareness. You do not chase attention. You command it. Command is rooted in discipline. Because you have mastered your attention, you are not easily triggered. Because you have guarded your energy, you are not easily drained. Because you have practiced delayed gratification, you are not easily distracted. Your stability becomes a resource for others. People lean towards stability. They trust it. They follow it. Imagine a team facing uncertainty. Deadlines approach. Expectations rise. Pressure builds. Your role is not to amplify fear. Your role is to reduce it. You assess the situation calmly. You define priorities clearly. You assign tasks logically. You speak with steady tone. Stand firm. Hold steady. Lead. Each time you model this behavior, your influence expands. Leadership is not loud. It is consistent. You are not performing leadership. You are embodying it. Strategic pauses remain powerful. When a decision requires thought, you do not rush for approval. You reflect. You evaluate. You choose intentionally. That pause builds trust. It shows that you value clarity over impulse. In conversation, you allow silence to breathe. You do not interrupt. You do not dominate. You contribute with precision. Precision commands attention. You do not chase it. You command it. Confidence grows naturally from competence. Because you have built discipline internally, you operate effectively externally. Because you have trained your focus, you can handle complexity without fragmentation. Leadership through focus is sustainable. It does not burn you out. It does not depend on adrenaline. It depends on alignment. Alignment between vision and action. Alignment between values and decisions. Alignment between words and behavior. People recognize alignment. It feels authentic. Authenticity builds influence. Your presence now carries weight. You do not need to convince others of your capability. You demonstrate it through consistency, through composure, through clarity. Stand firm, hold steady, lead. These commands are not temporary instructions, they are identity expressions. When distractions attempt to pull you into reaction, you remain centered. When emotional tension rises, you regulate first. When direction is unclear, you provide structure. You are not perfect, but you are intentional. That intentionality distinguishes you. Focused individuals influence environments because they are not controlled by them. You do not absorb every emotion in the room. You filter. You do not mirror chaos. You stabilize it. You do not compete for dominance. You offer direction. Imagine the ripple effect. One calm voice shifts the conversation. One clear decision aligns the team. One steady presence reduces anxiety. You are that presence. Leadership does not require a stage, it requires self-command. And you have built that foundation. Stand firm, hold steady, lead. When you internalize these commands, you become a force that shapes outcomes quietly. Not through intimidation, through consistency. You do not chase attention, you command it. And as your influence expands, so does your responsibility, because leadership through focus demands even deeper resilience, and that is where your next growth begins. Chapter 9. Resilience under pressure. There will be storms. No focused life escapes pressure. No disciplined path avoids resistance. No leader rises without facing moments that test stability. The question is not whether chaos will come. The question is who you will be when it does. Imagine standing at the edge of a shoreline as a storm builds over the ocean. The sky darkens. Wind strengthens. Waves rise higher with every passing moment. You cannot command the storm to stop, but you can command your storm to stop. But you can command yourself. External pressure is inevitable. Deadlines tighten. Expectations rise. Criticism appears. Plans shift. Uncertainty grows. Noise intensifies. Pressure presses. And in those moments, the old self tries to return. The old self panics. The old self reacts emotionally. The old self reacts emotionally. The old self abandons discipline for comfort. The old self seeks escape when intensity rises. This is the breaking point. It is not loud at first. It is internal. A surge of frustration. A spike of doubt. A desire to retreat. Your heart beats faster. Your thoughts accelerate. Your focus wavers. The storm has arrived. But remember something powerful. Storms test structure. They do not create it. If your foundation is strong, the storm reveals strength. If your foundation is weak, the storm exposes cracks. You have been building your foundation. Focus, energy protection, delayed gratification, identity. Now it is tested. External pressure versus internal control. You cannot silence the wind. You cannot eliminate the waves. but you can stabilize your stance. Imagine a tree rooted deeply in the ground. The storm bends its branches, but the roots hold firm. The deeper the roots hold firm, the deeper the roots, the stronger the tree. Your discipline is your root system. When pressure hits, breathe first, slow the reaction. Pause before speaking. Pause before deciding. Pause before responding. That pause is control. Resilience begins with awareness. You notice the surge of emotion. You notice the tension. You feel the pressure without being controlled by it. The old self would have reacted instantly. It would have escalated the situation. It would have let emotion dictate action. The new self observes first. Observation creates space. Space creates choice, creates power. The intensity rises. Criticism lands sharply. Deadlines tighten unexpectedly. Plans collapse. People disappoint. Circumstances shift beyond your control. The storm grows louder. You feel it. The urge to abandon focus. The temptation to match chaos with chaos. The desire to escape responsibility. This is the moment where resilience forms. Resilience is not the absence of stress. It is stability within stress. Focus remains steady during chaos. Say it internally. Focus remains steady during chaos. When everything outside you feels unstable, your inner structure must remain firm. Hold steady. Breathe deeper. The storm does not define you. Your response does. Imagine standing in the center of heavy rain. Water falls relentlessly. Thunder cracks above. Wind pushes from every direction. You lower your shoulders, you ground your feet, you stabilize your breathing, you do not fight the storm blindly. You endure it intelligently. Pressure reveals character. When pressure rises, your true habits surface. If your habits are reactive, you collapse. If your habits are disciplined, you stabilize. You have trained discipline. Now use it. Command escalation begins internally. Slow down. Do not rush into reaction. Clarify what actually matters in this moment. Simplify what is the next controlled step. Execute one action at a time. Under pressure, complexity increases. Thoughts multiply. Emotions amplify. Resilient focus simplifies. You narrow your attention. One task, one response, one controlled breath. The old self hits a breaking point. It says, this is too much. It says, this is unfair. It says, you cannot handle this. But you have grown. You know that discomfort is not destruction. You know that discomfort is not destruction. You know that intensity is not defeat. You know that storms pass. What matters is how you stand during them. Feel the emotional intensity, heart racing, mind racing, expectations rising. Pause. Command yourself. Steady, clear, focused. You are not fragile. You are forged. Forged through repetition. Forged through repetition. Forged through patience. Resilience does not shout. It remains. Imagine being in a high-pressure moment where everyone else is reacting emotionally. Voices rise, blame circulates, panic spreads. You remain composed. You listen. You assess. You speak calmly. Your calm shifts the room, because calm is contagious. Chaos feeds on reaction. It weakens under composure. Focus remains steady during chaos. The more intense the pressure, the more intentional your focus must become. Reduce input, limit emotional exposure, concentrate on what you control. You cannot control outcomes fully, but you can control preparation. You can control reaction. You can control posture. External pressure is unpredictable. Internal control is trained. When doubt appears, do not entertain it. Return to structure. What is the next step? Take it. When fear rises, do not amplify it. Return to breath. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. Your nervous system stabilizes. Clarity returns. Under pressure, the mind can exaggerate problems. Resilient focus corrects distortion. You zoom out. Is this permanent? No. Is this solvable? Yes. What is within my control? That is where you act. Command escalation intensifies. Stand firm. Hold steady. Do not collapse. Do not retreat into distraction. Do not abandon your standards. Pressure is temporary. Identity is permanent. You are not who you were. You do not crumble at the first sign of difficulty. You adjust. You adapt. Resilience is not dramatic. It is disciplined. When the storm is loudest, lower your internal noise. Do not match intensity with intensity. Match intensity with clarity. There is power in calm eyes during chaos. There is authority in steady tone during conflict. There is leadership in controlled response during crisis. The old self would have sought relief through escape. Scrolling, complaining, blaming, avoiding. The new self leans in, assesses, responds, moves forward. This is the breaking point where identity is proven. Anyone can focus in calm conditions. Few can focus under pressure. You are becoming one of the few. Feel the shift. The storm is still present, but you are no longer overwhelmed. Your breathing steadies. Your thoughts slow. Your actions become precise. Resilience grows in repetition. Each time you withstand pressure without collapsing, your confidence strengthens. You realize something profound. You are capable, not just in ideal circumstances, but in difficult ones. This realization is empowering. You are not dependent on perfect conditions. You are strong within imperfect ones. Storms refine leaders. They strip away illusion. They expose weakness. They strengthen foundation. Focus remains steady during chaos. Repeat it internally. Focus remains steady during chaos. This is your mantra when pressure rises. This is your anchor when uncertainty grows. The storm eventually passes. It always does. The sky clears. The wind calms. The waves settle. And you remain standing, stronger, more confident, more composed. Calm resolution follows intensity. You do not celebrate surviving chaos loudly. You reflect quietly. You learned. You endured. You grew. Resilience is not about eliminating pressure from your life. It is about transforming your relationship with it. Pressure no longer intimidates you. It trains you. Chaos no longer overwhelms you. It sharpens you. You understand now that storms are not interruptions to your path. They are part of it. Each one strengthens your structure. Each one deepens your roots. Each one confirms your growth. Each one confirms your growth. You versus your old self. The old self avoided storms. The new self stands in them. Grounded, focused, resilient. Stand firm. Hold steady. Lead yourself first, because when pressure comes again, and it will, you will not panic. You will stabilize. You will focus. You will endure. And that resilience will carry you into levels of strength you once thought impossible. Chapter 10. The power of deep work speed is seductive. It looks impressive. It feels productive. It gives the illusion of momentum. You answer quickly. You switch tasks rapidly. You move from one demand to another without pause. From the outside, it appears efficient. But speed without depth creates shallow results. Depth beats speed. There is a difference between being busy and being immersed. Busy is scattered motion. Immersion is concentrated power. Imagine an artist standing before a blank canvas. At first, the strokes are light, hesitant, surface level. But then something shifts. The artist leans in. The world fades. Hours pass unnoticed. Every detail receives full attention. That is deep work. It is not frantic. It is focused immersion. Time feels different in that state. The clock becomes irrelevant. External noise disappears. Thought deepens. Creativity expands. Precision increases. You have experienced moments like this before. A time when you were fully absorbed in a task, when distraction faded, when your mind and action aligned completely, when progress felt fluid and powerful. That state is not accidental, it is cultivated. Deep work begins when you eliminate multitasking. Multitasking is a myth disguised as productivity. It fragments attention, it forces constant switching, it drains mental energy faster than sustained focus. Every time you switch tasks, your brain resets, it loses momentum, it rebuilds context, struggles to regain depth. Shallow work feels urgent. Deep work feels important. Shallow work demands quick responses. Deep work demands sustained attention. The world often rewards visible activity, but mastery requires invisible immersion. Imagine sitting down with one task, just one. No open tabs, no background noise, no notifications, no shifting between projects. At first, your mind resists. It searches for distraction. It craves variety. It feels slightly restless. This is the tension. Your brain has been trained for novelty. Now you are retraining it for depth. Stay. Do not switch. Do not reach for interruption. Let the discomfort pass. It will. There is a threshold in deep work. The first minutes are difficult. Your thoughts wander. You question your progress. You feel tempted to check something else. Stay. Gradually, your mind settles. Thoughts become more organized. Connections deepen. Clarity strengthens. You enter immersion. This is where mastery is built, not in short bursts of scattered effort, not in constant reactive motion, but in uninterrupted concentration. Depth beats speed. When you immerse fully, the quality of your output transforms. Ideas become sharper, solutions become more creative, execution becomes more precise. You are not rushing to finish, you are refining, you are building something that lasts. Extended tension builds before breakthrough. You sit with a complex problem. At first it feels unclear. You analyzed, you experiment, you refined. Minutes stretch, hours pass. Doubt appears briefly. Is this worth the time? Yes, because depth compounds. The more time you spend immersed, the more layers you uncover, the more patterns you recognize, the more insight you generate. Speed skims the surface, depth dives below. Eliminating multitasking is a decision of discipline. Close unnecessary tabs, silence notifications, remove background distractions, create a protected block of time. Treat it as sacred. This is not indulgence, it is strategy. Deep work demands protection. Without boundaries, interruption will win. You must defend immersion. The tension builds further. You may feel pressure to respond instantly. You may feel urgency from outside demands. You may worry about missing something. But what you gain in depth far outweighs what you miss in distraction. Focus fully. Let your mind stretch. Let your thoughts expand. Let complexity challenge you. Transformation peak. Number 4 begins here. Block everything out. Not permanently. Intentionally. Block everything out. One task, not 5, not 3. 1. Full attention. No partial engagement. No divided energy. Full attention. Execute. Without hesitation. Without fragmentation. Block everything out. One task. Full attention. Execute. Feel the intensity. This is where greatness forms, not in scattered reaction, in sustained immersion. Stay with the task when it becomes difficult. Stay when it becomes complex. Stay when it demands more of you. Mastery does not come from dabbling. It comes from depth. Block everything out. One task. Full attention. Execute. The more you practice deep work, the more natural it becomes. Your focus strengthens. Your tolerance for complexity increases. Your output improves. You begin to crave immersion. Shallow activity feels unsatisfying because you know what depth produces. Imagine building a skill over years through deep work. Each session builds on the previous. Each immersion strengthens neural pathways. Each focused block compounds knowledge. Eventually, mastery emerges. Not suddenly. Earned mastery feels different. It is quiet confidence. It is fluid execution. It is the ability to handle complexity without panic, and it is built in silence. Emotional relief follows sustained effort. When you complete a deep session, you feel fulfilled, not just because the task is done, but because you gave it your best. You did not rush. You did not fragment. You committed. That commitment builds pride. Pride built on effort, not appearance. Depth changes your relationship with time. You stop measuring productivity by how many tasks you start. You measure it by how many you complete with excellence. You stop chasing quick wins. You build long-term capability. You understand now that deep work is not about isolation. It is about intention. When you engage with others, you do so fully. When you rest fully. When you work fully. Fragmentation disappears. Wholeness replaces it. Block everything out. One task. Full attention. Execute. Repeat this rhythm until it becomes instinct. Execute. Repeat this rhythm until it becomes instinct. You will face resistance again. There will be days when shallow work tempts you, when quick responses feel easier, when multitasking appears efficient. Remember the difference. Shallow feels busy. Deep builds mastery. Depth beats speed. Imagine your future built on deep work, your skills refined, your expertise recognized, your confidence grounded in real ability. That future is built one immersion at a time. You are capable of depth. You are capable of sustained focus. You are capable of building mastery through repetition. Stay, commit, execute. The emotional relief at the end of deep work is powerful. It is not excitement. It is satisfaction. It is knowing you invested fully. It is knowing you stretched your capacity. It is knowing you honored your vision. Mastery feels earned. Because it is, you cannot shortcut immersion. You cannot fake depth. You must live it. And you are living it now. Block everything out. One task, full attention. Execute. This is the rhythm of greatness. And as your capacity for deep work expands, so does your standard. Because once you experience mastery built through depth, you will never settle for shallow again. Chapter 11. The Standard of Excellence. There comes a point in your growth where improvement is no longer enough. You do not want average progress. You do not want occasional discipline. You do not want temporary focus. You want excellence. Excellence is not an outcome. It is a standard, and standards are chosen. Focused people raise their standards, not because someone demands it, not because they are pressured, but because their identity evolves. At the beginning of your journey, you were fighting distraction. You were building discipline. You were protecting your energy. You were practicing deep work. Now something deeper shifts. You begin to expect more from yourself. Not harshly, not with self-criticism, but with clarity. Self-respect grows quietly. Self-respect says, I will not waste my time. Self-respect says, I will not abandon my commitments. Self-respect says, I will not lower my standard for convenience. Excellence is born from self-respect. When you respect your time, you use it intentionally. When you respect your potential, you develop it consistently. When you respect your vision, you protect it fiercely. You no longer negotiate with mediocrity. Mediocrity whispers that this is good enough. Mediocrity suggests you can relax your effort. Mediocrity offers comfort disguised as balance. But excellence demands intention. It demands follow-through. It demands attention to detail. The difference between average and exceptional is rarely talent. It is standard. Average asks, is this acceptable? Excellence asks, is this my best? And you are no longer satisfied with acceptable. You have felt the power of focus. You have experienced the strength of discipline. You have seen the impact of deep work. Now you raise the bar. You no longer tolerate half effort. You no longer excuse inconsistency. You no longer accept distractions as inevitable. You choose higher. This is not pressure. This is pride. Pride in your growth. Pride in your resilience. Pride in your commitment. Calm confidence begins to define you. Confidence does not need applause. It does not need comparison. It does not need validation. It knows. You know what you are capable of. And because you know, you cannot return to lower standards. You no longer negotiate with mediocrity. Say it internally. You no longer negotiate with mediocrity. That does not mean perfection. It means alignment. If your effort falls short, you adjust. If your discipline weakens, you strengthen it. If your focus slips, you correct it. You do not rationalize it. You refine it. Excellence is not about intensity all the time. It is about consistency at a higher level. Imagine two people working on the same task. One completes it adequately, the other refines it, reviews it, improves it, ensures clarity and precision. Which one builds mastery? The second, because excellence lives in the details. You begin to notice details more. You refine your work before presenting it. You structure your time with intention. You review your progress honestly. You correct mistakes quickly. You do not defend weakness. You develop strength. This is self-leadership at its highest level. You hold yourself accountable without external pressure. You do not wait for someone to demand excellence. You demand it from yourself. Escalating affirmation rhythm begins here. I raise my standard. I protect my focus. I honor my potential. I raise my standard. Repeat it internally. I raise my standard. When standards rise, behavior follows. You wake up with intention. You begin your work without delay. You eliminate unnecessary distractions. You complete tasks fully. You review your progress. You rest with discipline. Excellence becomes your baseline. It does not feel forced. It feels natural. Because your identity has shifted. You are someone who executes with quality. You are someone who finishes with precision. You are someone who finishes with precision. You are someone who improves continuously. There is calm in this level of confidence. You do not rush. You do not brag. You do not compete loudly. You simply operate at a higher level. People notice, not because you announce it, but because your work reflects it. Your words carry clarity. Your actions carry consistency. Your presence carries authority. You no longer negotiate with mediocrity. That sentence should feel strong, because it is a boundary. It is a line drawn internally. You do not lower your effort because others do. You do not reduce your discipline because it feels easier. You do not abandon your standards for short-term approval. Excellence requires courage. Courage to be different. Courage to say no to less. Courage to maintain focus when others drift. But you have built courage through discipline. You have built resilience through pressure. You have built identity through repetition. Now excellence is simply the next expression of who you are. Imagine looking back at your previous version, the one who accepted average, the one who accepted average, the one who excused inconsistency, the one who tolerated distraction. That version had potential, but this version has standards. Standards create momentum. When you consistently operate at a higher level, progress accelerates. Skills sharpen faster, reputation strengthens quicker, opportunities expand, not because of luck, because of reliability. Excellence is reliability multiplied. It is doing what you said you would do, at a high level, repeatedly. There will still be moments of fatigue, there will still be days when effort feels heavy. But your standard does not collapse, it remains calm, steady, elevated. You do not punish yourself for imperfection. You correct it. You do not criticize yourself for setbacks. You learn from them. Excellence is not rigid. It is responsive. It adapts without lowering the bar. I raise my standard. I refuse mediocrity. I honor my growth. Escalate the rhythm. I demand clarity. I demand discipline. I demand focus, not harshly, but firmly. This is self-respect in action. When you respect yourself, you do not tolerate careless work. When you respect your vision, you do not sabotage it with laziness. When you respect your future, you invest in it intentionally. Focused people raise their standards, and raised standards change environments. Others adjust around you. They either rise to meet your level, or they recognize the difference. Either way, your path becomes clearer. You are not here to blend in. You are here to blend in. You are here to build. Excellence is a decision repeated daily. It shows in how you prepare. It shows in how you respond. It shows in how you recover. It shows in how you persist. You no longer negotiate with mediocrity. Let that settle deeply. It is not arrogance, it is alignment. You have seen what you are capable of, and you refuse to operate below that capacity. There is power in this refusal. Power to grow, power to influence, power to lead. Calm confidence stabilizes your standard. You are not frantic about excellence. You are committed to it. You do not seek constant recognition. You seek continuous improvement. That mindset compounds. Imagine years of operating at a raised standard, years of disciplined focus, years of consistent deep work, years of refusing mediocrity. The results become undeniable. Skill mastery, reputation integrity, leadership authority, all built quietly, all built steadily. Excellence does not scream. It speaks through results. You have built the foundation. Now you raise the structure. I raise my standard. I raise my focus. I raise my discipline. Feel the escalation, higher clarity, higher effort, higher intention. This is the level where transformation becomes undeniable. You are no longer trying to improve. You are operating at excellence, and excellence becomes your identity. As your standard solidifies, something powerful happens. You begin to realize that your influence extends beyond yourself. Because when you refuse mediocrity, you inspire strength in others, and that realization prepares you for the final integration of everything you have built. Chapter 12. The Focused Life. This is no longer about learning focus. This is about living it. At the beginning, focus felt like effort. You had to remind yourself. You had to correct yourself. You had to resist temptation consciously. You had to protect your time deliberately. Now something deeper has happened. Focus is no longer effort. It is who you are. The scattered version of you feels distant. The reactive version feels unfamiliar. The version that drifted between distractions feels like a memory from another life. You remember that person, but you are not that person anymore. This is the full integration. You trained your attention, you guarded your energy, you mastered delayed gratification, you endured pressure, you practiced deep work, you raised your standards, each lesson layered upon the last. Each discipline strengthened the foundation. Now the pieces connect. Focus is not a tool you pick up, it is your posture. You wake up with direction, you move with intention, you respond with clarity. You do not need constant reminders anymore, because identity has absorbed discipline. The final conflict appears quietly, you versus your old self. The old self stands one last time at the edge of your awareness. It whispers familiar thoughts, relax your standard, check just once, delay this effort, lower your commitment. But the voice is weaker now, because you are stronger. You recognize it immediately. You smile calmly, and you choose differently. There is no anger toward your past self, there is gratitude. That version struggled, that version learned, that version prepared you. But it does not lead you. You lead now. Focus is no longer effort, it is who you are. You do not debate with distraction. You dismiss it. You do not hesitate before beginning. You start. You do not negotiate with mediocrity. You exceed it. The final transformation peak begins here. Feel the intensity rise. No distraction. Not because it does not exist, because it does not control you. No hesitation. Not because fear never appears, because courage answers first. No excuses. Not because challenges disappear, because responsibility is your standard. No distraction, no hesitation, no excuses. Move, lead, execute. Short, direct, powerful. Move, lead, execute. Short, direct, powerful. Move. When opportunity appears, act. When difficulty rises, advance. When doubt whispers, proceed. Lead. Lead yourself first. Lead your habits. Lead your habits. Lead your standards, lead your environment, execute, finish what you start, deliver what you promise, honor what you commit. No distraction, no hesitation, no excuses. Move, lead, execute. This is the highest intensity, the culmination of everything you built. You feel it in your posture, you feel it in your breathing, you feel it in your certainty. There is emotional release here, not loud celebration, not dramatic applause, but deep, grounded realization. You have changed. You have proven something to yourself. You are not the person who quits early. You are not the person who drifts aimlessly. You are not the person who drifts aimlessly. You are not the person who finishes. Let that declaration settle deeply. You are the person who finishes. Finish the session. Finish the project. Finish the commitment. Finish the growth you begin. There is power in finishing. Many start, few complete. Completion builds reputation. Completion builds reputation. Completion builds confidence. Completion builds identity. You are the person who finishes. The old self chased inspiration. The new self creates momentum. The old self reacted emotionally. The new self responds strategically. The old self sought validation. The new self seeks excellence. There is no bitterness toward the past. Only evolution. The focused life is not extreme. It is intentional. It is balanced through discipline. It is energized through clarity. It is guided through vision. It is protected through boundaries. It is strengthened through resilience. It is elevated through excellence. This is integration. Imagine your life from this point forward. You enter each day with calm power. You define your priorities. You protect your attention. You immerse in deep work. You endure pressure. You finish what you start. You do not wait to feel ready. You move ready. You do not depend on mood. You depend on identity. Focus is who you are. Say it internally. Focus is who I am. Not occasionally, not temporarily, permanently. There will still be storms, but you will remain steady. There will still be distractions, but you will remain clear. There will still be distractions, but you will remain clear. There will still be pressure, but you will remain composed, because your foundation is built. You have resolved the conflict, you versus your old self. The old self no longer controls the narrative. The new self writes it. No distraction, no hesitation, no excuses. Move, lead, execute. Feel the rhythms slow now. Intensity softens into calm. You are not frantic, you are grounded. You are not proving anything to anyone. You are honoring your own standard. The focused life is not rigid, it is free. Free from chaos. Free from fragmentation, free from wasted potential. You walk differently now, not louder, not aggressive, but assured. When you sit down to work, you begin without delay. When you face challenge, you remain steady. When you encounter distraction, you dismiss it calmly. When you set a goal, you complete it. You are the person who finishes. That sentence carries weight. It carries history. It carries evidence. It carries strength. This is not motivation. This is identity. Identity does not disappear overnight. It compounds. Each focused day reinforces it. Each disciplined action strengthens it. Each completed task confirms it. You are the person who finishes. Imagine someone asking you how you changed. You would not describe a single moment. You would describe decisions, small, repeated decisions, protecting attention, eliminating noise, practicing deep work, raising standards, enduring storms, completing commitments. The focused life is built quietly, but its impact is loud. Your results will speak. Your growth will show. Your leadership will influence. And you will know why. Because you chose. No distraction, no hesitation, no excuses. Move, lead, execute. Let the intensity rise one final time. Feel your spine straighten. Feel your breath deepen. Feel your mind sharpen. You are not returning to your old patterns. You are not revisiting your old limits. You are not surrendering to your old doubts. You are the person who finishes. Now let the calm return. Steady, confident, grounded. The focused life does not require constant adrenaline. It requires consistent intention. And you have built it. You are not at the beginning. You are operating from discipline, from clarity, from strength. This is not the end of growth. It is the beginning of mastery. Mastery of attention. Mastery of attention. Mastery of response. Mastery of execution. You are the person who finishes. Carry that into every room. Carry that into every project. Carry that into every conversation. Carry that into every challenge, because focus is no longer something you practice. It is who you are, and from this moment forward, you live accordingly. No distraction, no hesitation, no excuses. Move, lead, execute, and finish. You are not the same person who began this journey. At the start, focus felt difficult, unstable, distant. You questioned your consistency. You wrestled with distraction. You wondered whether discipline could truly become natural. Now it feels different. There is steadiness in you, a quiet control, a grounded certainty that was not there before. You understand something powerful. Focus was never restriction. It was liberation. It freed you from distraction. It freed you from confusion. It freed you from the old patterns that kept you small. It freed your energy. It freed your time. It freed your time. It freed your potential. Pause. Feel that shift. You no longer react to every noise. You no longer chase every opportunity. You choose. Calm, intentional, precise. There will still be distractions. You remain steady. There will still be pressure. You remain clear. Storms may rise, noise may return, demands may increase. But you are different now. Because focus is no longer something you try to do, it is who you are. Stand tall, breathe deeply, let your posture reflect your identity. Say it now, with strength. I am ready. I rise. I decide who I become. Let those words settle into your foundation. This is not temporary motivation. This is transformation, not an emotional surge, not a passing spark, a permanent shift. From this moment forward, you protect your attention like it is your future. Because it is. Where your attention goes, your life follows. And now, your attention is disciplined. Move forward now. Focused, disciplined. Move forward now. Focused, disciplined, unstoppable. Carry this identity into every decision, into every challenge, into every opportunity. You are the person who finishes, and you do not look back.
You made it to the end. That already says something about you. Most people stop early. You stayed. If this audiobook challenged you, if it sharpened your focus, if it reminded you of who you're becoming, then don't let this be a one-time moment. This channel exists for people who choose growth, discipline over comfort, clarity over noise, progress over excuses. If you want more audiobooks like this, more mindset training, more leadership, more inner strength, subscribe, like this video so it reaches the people who need it, and share it with someone who's ready to rise but hasn't found the words yet. Stay consistent, protect your mind, and keep moving forward. This is only the beginning.